The opinions expressed on the radio program by the hosts, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight on Gynesis Radio. Tonight, well, first off, let me tell you who I am. I am Trish with She Is a Jewel. I am Radiant, Trish Elston. Thank you for joining us this evening on Gynesis Radio, Thursday night, 8 p.m. And with me, I have Miss Jacqueline Wells, the founder of J-Spot. And thank you, Jackie, for joining us this evening.
And thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to come to Genesis. Always.
Terry, we want to give you your accolades and for what you are doing with Genesis Radio. And thank you for allowing us to come and have expressions on this evening.
Absolutely. He's always opened arms and welcomes us to bring any event or venue or taboo subject to bring to the community, and we appreciate that and we thank him for that always.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be speaking on sex trafficking epidemic affecting our children. So, if you want to call in, please call in to 888-304-4401. Again, 888-304-4401. So we're going to have a Q&A.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Any information that is provided this evening, we don't proclaim to be any experts on this. What we proclaim is that we're sharing valuable information with the community with regards to our children. The J-Spot Youth Depot was founded to assist at-risk youth, provide support services and resources to them that they may be experiencing trauma in their life or just need an outlet. And what we do is we provide support services to them and resources and refer them to places where they can get assistance. And with that, with my background and the youth, that I have worked with over the years in group homes and that have been incarcerated in detention centers, it gave me the spirit to open up this type of environment for them. So again, we are not experts, but we're just sharing and providing information to the community with regards to our youth and how we can be the eyes and ears for our youth and be on the lookout for the highly rising epidemic of human trafficking, which also includes sex trafficking.
Yes, and when Jackie spoke about her background, I tell you, I've known her to be doing this for 20 years already, okay? That's how far back we're going, 20
Absolutely.
years.
Absolutely.
So she's saying we're not giving expert advice, but she is an expert in the field dealing with children. And she gave you from the incarceration to the group homes, to the shelters, different cities, from New York to New Jersey to PA.
Correct.
And going south.
And going south. Absolutely. That part.
Okay.
That part. And going south. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Let me ask you the first question. What is National Human Trafficking Awareness Day?
Well, Human Trafficking Awareness Day, as they call it, Wear Blue Day, was designated January 11th. And it's a recognition of human trafficking, which includes sex trafficking. And human trafficking is anyone that is being exploited, whether it be for labor, services, or sex, against their will. And that's the bottom line. That's the clear definition of it. Anyone, any child, any adult, anyone that is being exploited against their will for labor or for sex.
Okay. Why blue?
To be honest, I'm not sure where the blue came from, but the federal government recognizes Blue Day, January 11th, every year. And I guess it's just like anything else, everything they have to put a label on it. So the significance of the blue is representing the Blue Day, representing January 11th every year in honor of Human Trafficking Day. Now, as you know, trafficking is for the month of January,
Right.
but they designate January 11th as Wear Blue Day in
Okay.
honor of it.
So we got the whole month of January
Correct.
for this
Correct.
cause, this
Correct.
awareness.
Correct.
How long has National Human Trafficking Awareness Month been brought to the forefront?
Well, as we all know, human trafficking has been going on for a long time. They haven't been calling it that. It hasn't been recognized as that, but it's been going on for years. In the mid 2000s, 2010-ish is when they actually labeled it and started recognizing it as basically keeping stats and acknowledging that this is what's going on. It's interesting though, because as we know, years going on, these type of things have been going on. They just didn't have a name for it.
As everything else.
As everything else. So they gave it a name, labeled it, and as anything else with the government, that's where they get their funding and services. So they had to categorize it, so to
Okay.
speak. So to speak.
Put
They
it
had
in
to
the
categorize
category,
it.
right.
Yes. So that they could get funding for it. And since the mid 2000s, it's, as you can see, it's been rising, on the rise, and definitely a very significant thing that we need to be aware of.
Yes, yes. And it's funny you say that, because I remember when we had the human trafficking right there at the hotel, which is no longer there now.
Yep.
Is now a car where they're selling cars at now.
Yep. Right here. Look, right here
In our
in the
backyard.
Poconos.
In our own backyard. Exit 302.
Yep. Yep.
You spoke about your background. So what made you get involved with wanting to spread this awareness?
Believe it or not, it's my passion. It's my ministry. I am definitely feel like this is my ministry. Youth has always been my ministry. From my prior years in law enforcement, when I retired law enforcement and then went into the schools to do school safety security. My passion is children. I was on the other side for a long time, and I said I wanted to be on the other side of stopping our children from being statistics.
Okay.
Giving them the ability and showing them some guidance on them not being statistics and how that they can use the system to assist them rather than house them.
Amen. I like that. I like that. Yes, because as we know, many of the correctional facilities and the jails were being built to put our children in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tearing down the schools and putting the money there.
Absolutely. And it was an effort that I got on board with, to say, you know what, I want to show them and guide them and teach them how to not be, how they can use their resources available to them to get services and help to assist them, to guide them through, so that they can treat a better life for themselves, because they deserve it.
They do.
They deserve it.
How much profit does human trafficking earn a year?
Well, statistics say that human trafficking has been recognized as one of the fastest growing criminal enterprises, and it's estimated to be an $150 billion global industry.
Now you said 150
Billion.
B.
Billion. Yes, billion.
A year.
Industry. A year.
Ooh.
Yes.
On our backs, on the babies,
That's right. That's right. 150 billion a year.
And that's global?
Global industry. Those are the statistics that are reported by the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children.
How many children a year go, can I say missing?
Well, what I'll say is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reports 1 out of every 6 runaway is trafficked. More than 25,000 cases of children were reported to them in 2022 who had run away and they deemed likely victims of sex trafficking.
Wow. In your field, do you ever find any of the runaways?
You know, we the come across runaways on a regular basis, in the community, everywhere, because believe it or not, this time of year, the cold, social media, all these things, they're meeting these people on social media and they're coming out, don't know what they don't know who they're coming in contact with. And from all across the states, like you said, going south, coming south, coming north from south, excuse me, coming north from south. And yes, it is very much, they say 1 in every 6 runaway is trafficked. Between 2008 and 2019, the number of human trafficking victims identified worldwide more than quadrupled from 30,000 to nearly 120,000.
Wow. Now, when you find the runaways, you'll send them back home?
Well, in the group homes, I actually ran a group home that housed sex trafficking ladies, and in an effort to try to keep them safe
Mm-hmm.
and not to go back into their environment, we would, give them resources, try to get them in school, and just try to kind of get them back on track. But due to the Stockholm, they adopt the Stockholm syndrome, that they run back to their traffickers because that's all they know.
Mm.
And
Ooh.
it's hard. It's the hardest thing to change that mindset because that's all they know. That's what they've been comfortable with. That's what they've come accustomed to. So it doesn't matter, especially you don't know what's going on at home. That home environment could be very toxic.
Right.
And if they think that somebody, quote unquote, loves them by selling them, then that's what they go back to. So it's very hard. I would say 1 in every, I don't know, 5 possibly remains out and the others go back because that's what they know.
That's what they're familiar
That's
with.
familiarity.
Now, since we're on that topic, I'm going to rail off because this is not even one of the questions I have.
Mhm.
Now, we're talking about the runaways and them going back to the individual that had them out there.
Mhm.
How easy is it for someone to be trafficked?
Extremely. And believe it or not, a traffic victim typically is not a stranger. It's someone that has been in their circle, that has watched them, that has become an acquaintance with them
Mm.
for that familiarity so that they can feel as though they're safe
Okay.
when in reality
Then,
they're not.
so, we have to be very mindful of
Correct.
who we have
Correct.
or
And a company.
those in our environment.
I encourage parents all the time that they need to really have those courageous, and I call them courageous conversations, because nowadays the mindset of the youth is they don't want to, you can't tell them anything. Parents are very lax with touching on those subjects because they're very sensitive subjects. And it's important, it's extremely important to have those conversations, to engage with them about things that the people that they surround them, ask them about any new acquaintance.
Mhm.
You know the song No New Friends?
Okay.
Okay. So that's one of the major things It's knowing who they're keeping company with, where they're going. We joked about all the time about the sleepovers.
Yes.
Being too free
Okay.
with allowing them to stay at other people's houses that you have not made acquaintance with. Going through their book bags. Don't go in my room. It's my room. Excuse me. You don't pay no bills. You don't have no room.
Okay.
You renting.
You're
Without
not even
paying.
renting.
You're not even renting. Real talk. That's my room.
Okay.
I'll let you stay there.
I let you
I'll
have.
let you stay there. So, it's very important for parents to engage with the youth about these type of conversations, and be cognizant of whom they're in company with. Because if you don't know the parents or whomever it is that they're hanging around the children, then you don't know anything about them. So you don't know what's going on over there.
You don't. You don't know who's in it.
They might be running a sex trafficking house for you don't know. How many times have you seen the biggest thing is what? Who's doing the recruiting?
The
Young
children.
girls. Young girls.
Yes.
Come hang out with me. You can make some more money that you haven't seen. And the next thing you know, what?
She's out there.
She's out there. She's out there. So it's very important to have those conversations and to be in their business. Book bags, drawers, go through their personal things. I'm sorry, there's nothing personal in my house.
That's it. Because I need to be aware.
Absolutely. Awareness is the key.
Yes.
And watching the signs, the withdrawnness, always on that. Look, what are they? Always
on the
Facebook.
social. Yeah.
All social media. Social media is the biggest enemy. And we have to, watch those parental controls and be mindful because honestly, and I'm guilty of it as well. My granddaughter always got her face in that phone. Don't know who she talking to.
We don't.
We get so comfortable because we say, "Oh, it wouldn't happen to mine." Because how would it happen to mine? I'm in this field. Like it can't be mine.
Yes.
No, it could happen to mine.
Yes, it could happen to any one of us.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because when I look at how many children are disappearing out the schools, I'm like, how was the child able to leave the school?
Mm-hmm. They watch them for a while. They scope it out. They plan how they're going to. I know. I have a testimony of a young lady that I was helping, and when she started, she was like 12, and lots of stuff going on at home, and no attention, and ran into somebody that knew the family. Walked to the school in the morning, gave her money, and all those things, and bonded that relationship, forged that relationship. And the next thing you know, he was like, "I need you to do something for me. I need a favor." And the next thing you know is he had her sleeping with men, multiple men. And then it went on to she had 3 children for him.
3 children from him.
From him.
So he had her sleeping with others,
Absolutely.
and he was sleeping with her as well.
I got her out, put her in a shelter, restarted her life. I mean, just got her all the resources needed, and she was doing really good. She was like, "Oh, Miss Jackie, I'm good. I'm good. Okay." Checking on her. She needs something, making sure she has services. He found her. Gone. And
Wow.
it had been like over a year.
And he found her.
He found her.
And she was in a different state.
Yep.
That's
social network. She got on social network. That's how you found her.
Social media, absolutely. Because that's how they found her. Yeah. She was in a whole nother state. Doing well. And let me tell you how we found her. She met a girl who claimed she had the same situation as her. She was working, told her, "You come stay with me." She had her own place and everything because she was set up. She was good. "You come stay with me." It was a plan. He sent her.
Wow.
He sent her. But like I said, social media, because you don't know who you're talking to.
You don't.
They pretend to be somebody else. You don't know who you're talking to. And that's just one. There's so many. It's ongoing. It's an ongoing cycle. And it's really one of those things that no matter what we do, it's gonna be right. So we just have to continue to be combative, about it, and awareness, and just do what we do.
Is she still with him till this day, or did she break free?
She didn't. The last I spoke to her, she didn't break free because that's the other thing that happens. Once they go back, then they lose
lose the
contact
touch.
with you. Yes.
Well, I got a question for y'all.
Sure.
I'm sitting here, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in here.
Oh, please.
What about the parents' role that they play? Sometimes the parents with these phones they give these young girls,
Mm-hmm.
they don't realize that they put their daughters out there
At risk.
because we have a friend who she put her daughter on her Facebook page every day, and she's been doing this for years, and she don't realize that she is grooming her daughter to be a victim of pedophiles because the pedophiles is watching this little girl grow up. They're watching her grow up, and now she's about maybe 12 years old, maybe
That's a baby,
maybe 12 or 13 years old. So they watched her grow up from about 5 or 6 years old. Now she's about 12 or 13, and her mother think that dressing up like an adult and having her pose like an adult is cute.
You know why? Because her mother's being her friend and not her parent.
Yeah. Because
and that's the problem now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Full transparency. That's what we're dealing with now. We got children raising children.
Yes.
They're too busy being their friend and not their parent.
Yeah.
Those days are gone of parenting children. Now they're giving them anything they want. They're trying to keep them quiet, keep them satisfied. Leave me alone. You don't know how many parents are trafficking their children.
Well,
that part.
They definitely setting them up.
That
because the mama posting videos twerking.
Yeah.
And then she got the daughter there with her. You know what I'm talking about.
What I just said.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
But what did I just say? Because she's too busy being her friend.
You know what I'm talking about.
He said, you know what I'm talking about. She's too busy being her friend and not her mother.
And that goes back to.
But that's generational.
There you go.
That's generational. And that's the part that has to be broken. That becomes generational because you only can teach what you were taught.
Or what you didn't have.
Right. So if you were taught that this was okay behavior, then that's why you're doing it. If you didn't get the stern, attentive mothering, then you don't know how to. I had this conversation with my daughter. My daughter's a millennium, and you can't tell them nothing because they know it all.
Absolutely.
And a parent can only give you what they were given.
Yes.
So there's no books to this. Parenting is trial and error. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't.
It's rolling the dice.
It is. And you try to raise your child to be the best individual that they can be. But guess what? Ultimately, society takes over.
Well, we always say pop culture has raised the children today.
Absolutely.
Yes. And unfortunately, Cardi B has become the role model. So if the proclaimed I'm a stripper and I'm a boss bee and I'm this and I'm that,
and now look how I'm living,
and that's what I want to do.
And now look how I'm living.
Okay, I got it all.
Yep.
I got it all.
Yep. So therein lies the problem.
Absolutely. And statistics say, believe it or not, this is gonna blow your mind. 2022, New Jersey was 18th in the country for human trafficking, with 151 cases confirmed. But New York was number 4 with 404 cases confirmed.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't even talk. It's real. Real. And when I was in the schools up here, you couldn't get anybody to accept that it was going on here in the Poconos. No, not in the Poconos. But these children are raising themselves in the Poconos.
You know why? Because we got all this open space.
They're raising themselves. Their, parents are working in the city commuting. And let me play, no disrespect. I get it. But these children are raising themselves. And the stuff that's going on that the parents don't even know anything about. It's like, wow, this beyond. And then they get in wrapped up with people, and then people are watching. They see this. Oh, they see that you're going all week. They see that these kids are raising themselves.
Yes.
Oh, they pray on them.
Yes. I was fortunate. I was fortunate when I moved up here.
You know, we make the choices to come up here for the better.
Yes.
You know, and for the right reasons. And in our mind, we're like, you know, we're trying to give them a better life, but that life, our choices and decisions affect
Yes, it
them
does.
and the life that they live.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And the village is gone.
What village?
It's gone.
Well, you
It's
don't
gone.
have what you
Our
have.
grandchildren will never know what a village is.
No. No.
And that's the
No.
reality. They will never know what a village is.
Honestly, Shanae didn't even get to know what a village is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, but I was fortunate because when I moved up here, you became part of my village.
Mm-hmm. The
You know?
circle that you make speaks volumes, and it's so
Yes.
important to make those connections. And you know, when I first came up here, I was commuting back and forth and always had something, but I had to meet and learn what people, like you said, to create a village.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kiana play basketball. I had to link up with, you know, parents that I know. Okay, I need her to get, but you know, you have to create that.
Yes, you do. You have to be open.
You have to create that. There are so many people that I'm thankful for that when I came up here, you know, that I was able to have that for her. You know, it didn't stop her from me commuting or going into Jersey. Didn't stop her from playing basketball, going to school functions, because that's what's important. They don't have anybody, so the kids are home. They don't have nothing to do.
At
They
all.
can't do any after school activities because there's nobody to pick them up from the bus stop that's umpteen miles away.
Okay.
I was thankful that I had my son to drive the spoiled child to the bus stop that she could have walked to. We're not gonna talk about that.
You know, we got bears. We got bears.
Okay. Okay. So, you know, it's those type of decisions that affect
Yes.
our children.
Yes.
And it's very, very important that we address that and create some type of a foundation
For them.
for them. Absolutely. And like you said, you and I, you know, we had a couple of people.
Yes.
And we made it do what it do.
Yeah.
And look at your niece now. Look at her.
Okay.
Blossoming,
Yeah.
doing well.
And we don't even mention what school she in because we don't want.
But guess
And
what?
as Terry said, we don't want nobody searching
Hello.
for her.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
But it's funny because we spoke on girls. We spoke about mothers having their daughters twerking,
Mhm.
dressing. You're 12 years old and you're looking like you're 24, well, acting like you're 24 years
Oh,
old.
looking too.
Okay.
Looking too. You said it right.
You know.
Looking too.
But what about the guys?
Believe it or not, and people have this conversation, they have this myth, but males are trafficked as well. Young males are trafficked as well. Maybe not as much as young ladies, but they are definitely trafficked. And again, remember we said the definition of trafficking is not only about the sex,
It's about the labor.
it's about the labor, having them working and doing things that they are not okay with at somebody else's will, because that's what it boils down to. It's not only about the sex. It's about, I mean, how many they bringing all these people over here, putting them in their houses and working them. Oh, it's an au pair. It's not an au pair.
No.
It's not an au pair.
No.
And we're not even going to touch that migrant situation.
Yeah, because that's part
we're
of
not.
it.
We're
That's
not
part of
even
it.
going to touch that situation. You need a whole nother show for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not even going to touch that. But children account for 1/3 of detected victims of trafficking.
1/3. So
1/3.
that's like me, you, and Teddy right here. That's 3.
Mhm.
And one of us
Yeah.
is 1/3.
Children account for 1/3. Yep.
If you think about how many children you have as an individual, you
Mhm.
know one of your children could be that one that's targeted.
Oh, I got a better stat for you. Youth homelessness accounts for 7%. 1.5 million children and adolescents run away a year.
What would make a child? Well, let me not even say that.
Yeah, you can. Because it's not always, and let me clear this up, this myth. It's not always that it's something going on at home. It's not always that. It's remember, it's how they come up and how they perceive. So if they're being taught to live respectfully and respect rules and be right obedience and go to school and do them, that's a reason for them to run away because they see somebody else doing something different. So what I'm not going to say is it's always about something's going on at home. No. Yeah, something's going on at home. You being exactly. That's what's going on. Structure is being created, and you want to be disobedient because your friend is doing something different.
But my friend is able to do X,
absolutely.
I want to do that too.
Absolutely. How many times does a teenager or preteen say that to me? Well, such and such can go. They mother let them go. That's why they live there and not here. So I don't want it to be perceived that it's always something going on at home. Yes, there are a lot of situations where there's stuff at home, parents, divorce, separations, and, that type of thing. But it definitely is children running away that come from decent homes that are trying to create structure for them and teach them the right way, but they don't want no parts of the right way. Hence where J-Spot came about, because we need to be able to, and we collab on a lot of things, because the same thing with you. Your nonprofit is, I Am Radiant, She Is a Jewel, is to enhance young ladies, to teach them, how important their body is.
Yes.
And that goes along with the trafficking when you think about it.
It does.
Because if they know the value of their body, they won't want to get involved in that. So it's hand in hand.
It is.
It's hand in hand. Because if they have a sense of value of their body and their mind, then they won't want someone controlling it.
That part.
So it's hand in hand. And that's why it's so important, the work that we do. And it was by no coincidence that we were brought together to do the work that we do. Because that part is, if we teach our young ladies and show them how important it is to control their minds and their bodies and be able to speak for themselves, there's nothing that nobody can say to them.
At all. They will be that phenomenal.
There's nothing that nobody can say to them, because there's so many misconceptions out here about trafficking and about how it starts and where it comes from. It's as simple as a young lady or young man that is groomed or met in the grocery store. Because
hey, beautiful.
Exactly. Because if ain't nobody telling you beautiful at home,
and this first time you hear it in the street,
absolutely,
you're gonna be good.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Exactly. So then tomorrow I see you.
Hey, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And now we create this relationship. And then the next thing, come hang out with me.
You want lunch?
Mm-hmm.
You hungry?
You got money?
You ain't got no money.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how it's developed. It's not hard.
It's not.
It's really not hard, especially when they have the young people recruiting for them.
Playing your friend.
Yes.
Because they see you as a loner.
Mm-hmm.
That one we could get easier.
Easy.
Because
Absolutely.
there's nobody watching out.
Nobody's watching. Oh, okay, I know. Her parents work in the city. She never home. They're never home. She's always this. They got the rundown. They done told them the rundown. Okay, that's an excellent candidate. We want that one.
And her parents won't even know.
Won't even know she going. Because don't nobody pay her no attention. And that's another reason why it's so important for our males, our fathers, to love their daughters and show them and tell them how important they are and how they should be treated. We joke about it saying how the daddies spoil these girls and treat them in a way that, but you know
We do.
what? We want them
Yes.
because we want them to have
Yes.
expectations.
That's right. That's right.
We want them to feel like that's daddy showing them how they should be treated.
That's right.
That's extremely
it.
important.
Like, if they can't treat you like this,
Absolutely.
then you don't need to be.
Then
with
you
them.
don't need to be with them.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that, and them hating on you.
Daddy should be teaching them, but then daddy can't hit mommy either.
Right. Right.
That
What you
all
wanna say,
goes
Terry?
along with
But
that.
you know, nowadays, I had this conversation with a lady friend of mine today. Some women are just conditioned for abuse. You know,
But it goes
Explain,
back to what we
explain.
said.
Explain.
well, conditioned for abuse is, like you said, they only know what they see.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a cycle.
Yep. Generational curse.
Generational curse.
You know, and they only know what they know, and they find themselves in relationships with men.
Attracted. That's what they.
They're attracted to.
Yeah.
And you know what? They can meet the good guy. They don't
And
want
don't
him.
want them.
You know what I mean? Because he ain't talking down to him. He ain't beating them. He
The
ain't abusing
behaviors
them,
that they're used
Right.
to.
Yeah.
and he's not forcing them into.
Anything.
He ain't got the pimp mentality. He ain't pimping them.
No,
They don't want him.
absolutely.
Okay.
He's weak.
Woo.
You know what I mean?
And that was a mouthful.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a mouthful.
Facts.
And they just condition
Facts.
for abuse. You know?
And it trickles down.
Yeah.
And it trickles down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to be lonely because my mother is lonely.
Yeah.
No, not that I want to be. That's what I've seen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
It's
that's
not
the
that I
life.
want to be. That's what
Yeah.
I've seen
And they okay with it. You know what I mean?
because they haven't seen anything different.
And then that's what they're
Because-
teaching.
I told this girl today, this woman today, you're more than just a ride. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because she was so used to being with men that,
Used to.
Dog die.
Mhm.
self-esteem in the trash. You know what I mean? So all that's a part of being trafficked. That's how
Yes.
you
The mind.
when they see that,
The mind
when they see you have that
mentality.
that's right. You easy for the picking. And they look for that in these young girls.
Yes,
Mhm.
they
You know
do.
what I mean? They look for it because guess what? Our little friend ain't no daddy figure around.
No.
You know what I mean? Ain't no daddy figure around. And you can't blame it on the father because he's an absentee dad. You know what I mean?
No, because you don't know. You don't
You don't-
know the
you don't know the
logistics
circumstances
behind him not
You
being
know what I
there.
mean?
Absolutely.
But you look at social network and you see how the mama behave,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
The daughter only knows what she sees.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
No,
you-
that's
and,
facts.
and you a grown woman. What are you
No,
doing?
that's facts.
What are you doing?
Mentally, she not grown.
What are you doing? Why are you putting videos on
But how old
social
is she?
network? She got to be in her 30s.
That part.
Her whole phase. She should be out of her whole phase by now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Woulda,
She
coulda,
should be,
shoulda.
You know what I mean?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
But and it's a lot of times
Yes.
the parents is trying to live through the children.
Through the children, vicariously through the children.
I missed
Absolutely.
that, Mark.
Me too. Because when I became a parent, I became a parent.
Right.
I
No.
didn't get to
Get to go back and forth. The Tina Turner.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I did this life. This is the life I'm at.
Yeah. So you know what? It's a shame because you know what you talk about trafficking, and I say to myself, that little girl one day, Crunchy
God
Black
forbid.
gonna come along, and she's gonna hop in somebody's car and never come back.
Mm.
And you know what? That's probably would be the case.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
The attention is being put in a wrong place.
because Mama taking pictures in her bra and panties. Whoa!
On social
And
media.
social media.
I'm putting it on social media.
Wow.
You know, now lately, the last year or so, she toned it down a little bit, but you know,
But it's already out
the
there.
damage is already done.
Yeah, because you can go search
The
and
damage
It's
is
already
done.
out there.
It's already
No, the
done.
vision that the daughter saw is already there.
yeah, because her daughter seen her do it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
okay.
You know?
But then when she starts doing it, if she hasn't already, then she gonna feel some type of way. But that's what you
groomed
taught
her. You groomed her for that.
Mhm. Yeah.
You did.
So we're actually teaching them this life at home, and then get mad when the people on the outside
Mhm.
picks them up.
Mm.
And the funny thing about it is, when I spoke on it a couple years ago to her friends, they said, you ought to tell her not to do that. They told me I need to mind my business.
Wow.
Because those not her friends.
That's
You know,
right.
look, that she can do what she want to do. She grown.
Those
Like-
not her friends.
Like, wow. How about
Because
that?
her friends will pull her coat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They tap on the shoulder like, sweetie.
Wow.
Sis,
Wow.
those not her friends.
And I always say everybody want to go to bed with a porn star, but nobody want to marry them.
Woo!
That part.
Yeah.
That.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And she want to know why you'll never be a
Single.
wife. You only qualify to be a side chick.
Mm.
Ain't nobody gonna take you out and show you off.
Nope.
Everyone wants to be shown off, right?
Yeah.
You want me
Ain't
to
taking
family,
you home.
want
I don't
me
wanna
to
be
take
the
you
home to
home?
meet
secret.
nobody.
I want to be a secret.
Uh-huh. Ain't taking you home to meet nobody.
No.
Okay.
No. Mm-mm.
You're like, oh, so I'm not good enough to meet?
No.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh.
No. Mm-mm.
You
Behind
can't
closed doors.
You can't come to the family reunion. No.
Because I'm worried about how you gonna act.
No, not that. Because she the girl that would come to the
Side
family reunion. Everybody got
Everybody might have had her.
the big sombrero. And when you bring her, everybody put the sombrero down because they talk about that family reunion who got the hoe at the family
Okay.
reunion.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But that's a fact. That is a whole fact that the premise of the examples that we set,
Yes.
and not only at home, in our community,
Period.
in school, in churches, everybody that you come in contact with, is giving you a vision of your behaviors or acceptable behaviors.
Yes.
Whether it's a negative or a
positive.
positive.
Right, because it's black or white. It's no gray area.
Our children are very, very impressionable.
At an early age.
Very, very. And nowadays,
At an early age.
as young as our baby grades.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
very impressionable. They miss very little. And they're coming into their womanhood even earlier.
For real.
Yes, even earlier.
Because of the process,
Mhm,
chemicals that's in our
mhm.
food.
Yep. So we got I had a young lady tell me that her 8-year-old just
Started her cycle.
started her cycle. 8 years old.
Yeah. And you're like, wait a minute.
How do you have a conversation with an 8-year-old? But you have to.
You have to. You have to, because she's at that age
Yes.
where she could be touched and she
Absolutely.
could conceive.
But that's not a conversation that you're thinking about at that time
No.
to have with an 8-year-old.
No.
But it's important that you do. So again, it's the behaviors, it's the examples that we have to set for our youth, male and female, and not only the younger youth, the older ones too.
Yes. Because they
Hence what he
said,
said.
the 12-year-old, the 30,
The 30-year-old.
right.
But there's evidently there was no example set for her.
That part.
And it's hard to have a conversation with her at this stage because she doesn't think that anything that she's doing is
Is
wrong.
wrong.
Because it's been acceptable. Nobody checked it
At the door.
at the door. So to her, ain't nothing that she's saying is wrong. But I will say this, those are not her friends that said, oh, can't nobody say nothing, she's wrong. Because if I'm your friend, then I need to tell you, now what you do is what you do. But if I'm not telling you, I'm doing you a disservice.
That's right. I don't have your best interest at heart.
I'm doing you a disservice. I need my friend to tell me. My son used to tease me all the time. He said, "Ma, your friends, all your friends, they don't take, they scared of you. No, they ain't scared of me." He be like, "Yes, sure. All your friends scared of you. They won't tell you, you the boisterous one. They're not gonna tell you if you saying something or doing something wrong because they scared of you." That's not true. And if that's the case, they not my friend. Because my friend
We're gonna pull your coat.
gonna pull my coat. Now I
Pull
might
your
not
coat.
like what she have to say,
But she said it.
but she said it. And I'm gonna either have to reevaluate whatever it was that she said, and if
Or
I'm
do a
feeling some
survey.
type of way, about it,
Like,
But reality is what?
real. Reality is real.
Absolutely. So, I really wish that that young lady could get some mentorship somewhere, because that's
Both
that
of
right
them.
there. Yeah, that's
Both of them.
And
That-
when they think it's cute, and you know what? That's what I hate about
Puppies
social
and
net-
monkeys are cute.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what I hate about social network. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, when you look down, like me, I don't know what y'all see, but for me being a man, when I look at my timeline, what I see up and down the timeline is bad.
No,
It's
I
bad.
have to agree with you.
It's just
I have to
bad,
agree
you know.
with
And they just fishing for likes.
TMI.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
TMI.
yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's TMI.
It's terrible. You know.
And it's funny. I'm glad the way Facebook got it now, because I don't get everybody's post. I actually have to type in people's names to see what they have. They're not in my algorithm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now Temmy's in mine. And Temmy be putting stuff up, and I'm like, what is he talking about? But it's songs he's talking about.
Oh yeah. Everything I put is music
music
related.
related.
It's music
Yeah.
related.
You know, so you actually got to know the music to understand what he's
Like
putting down.
like we were just talking about, they don't make music like that
Right.
anymore.
You know,
So he just had that conversation that they don't make music like that anymore. So therefore, uh, therefore, uh, they
It's a
wouldn't
loss.
understand.
It's
They
lost.
wouldn't understand what he's
Mhm.
supposed to.
Right.
But it's bad.
It
bad out
is.
there.
It is.
It's bad.
And how do we become better? Are you able to go into schools and teaching this?
You know, I tried,
Or
but
speak on
again,
this.
I tried, but again, they believe that there's nothing going on up here, because if they allow me to go in to speak on it, then that means they have to admit that there's something that I need to speak about, that there's something going on that needs to be heard. And that's the reality. Because to allow me to go have a conversation about this, it means that
You're opening
there's
the
something, Pandora's box. There's something that's going on that needs to be addressed, and then we have to acknowledge it.
Well, you're right. They can't do it because with what I do, I'm in the school systems in Jersey, right? And a lot of the senior teachers have been put in the rubber room
Mm-hmm.
because they confronted some of the students about the way they were
Dressed,
and their
absolutely,
behavior.
absolutely.
You know, and they have this thing now. You can't say nothing to nobody no more.
No.
You know, you can't say anything about the way they're dressed because they're gonna go home and tell their mother. And see now that these mothers today, you know, they grew up in a different time and era.
Yes,
You know
it
what I mean?
is.
Because the reality is, I don't care what your background is. That crack era messed everybody up.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It
Yes,
messed.
it did.
It don't care if you white, black,
Nope,
green, blue,
it did
It
yellow.
doesn't have a color.
It
Absolutely. It
messed
doesn't have a
everybody
color.
up. So you know what? These parents today, you tell their daughter something, you know, because these are the grandbabies of
Correct.
the crack baby,
Yeah.
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Yep.
So you can't tell them nothing. You know what I mean? And they come back to school and complain. First thing they do, they remove the teacher out of the classroom.
Absolutely.
She can't be around the teacher, so they investigate what's going on.
Wow.
And that's forcing all those senior teachers to retire and leave.
And then what do you have?
And now, like for instance,
The younger version.
in Morristown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Morristown, New Jersey, it's a very mixed, diverse community, right? You have teachers working in the high school now that's maybe
Same
3 years out of that high school.
Yep. You're right.
Are now the
Absolutely.
teachers. They 3 years
Absolutely.
out of high school. And the problem was before, you know, if you were a few years out of the high school, you had to work in the elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You couldn't work in the middle school or the high school because you were too close to their age.
Correct.
It's not
Right.
like that anymore. Because
Really?
it's not like that anymore. Because
Wow.
there's a teacher shortage.
Yeah.
And now
Because,
that I do know.
Because all the seasoned teachers
are
are forced to
gone.
retire because they don't want to put up with that. You know what I mean?
Like,
Because
they
the
don't want
way
that stress.
these kids come to school dressed, you know, like there's no morals.
Mm.
The
No.
way these young girls come to school dressed, no morals, none. They
Wow.
come
Like they going
half
to the club.
naked, not
Yeah.
going, not to the club, like they going
To
to
bed.
bed. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Going to bed. You know,
So there's no dress code.
no dress code. You can't tell them anything. You can't tell them anything. They changed the rules before. If they came to school and their shorts was too short, you can send them home. You know, if the top was too short or you know
Too revealing.
you can tell them something. You can't do that anymore.
That's crazy.
You can't do that anymore.
So it's interesting that you say that. So all of that
Plays into
the
trafficking.
the
Right.
trafficking
And
because you're exposing your body
it's right.
Yeah.
to people, to strangers in the street.
And all those grown men
Mm-hmm.
are parked outside the high schools,
Absolutely.
Picking them up.
picking them up.
Absolutely.
Pick them up. You know, and I was out there one day, and the school resource officer, he was upset, and the school safety officers and whatever, they was upset because it was this one man. They said he was a pervert or something like that, and blah blah blah. He was hanging around the school, and they wanted to chase him away. You know, because some of the girls, you know, they complained. He might say something to them, or he said something, or whatever. But I had to say to the guy, well, look at them. You know what I mean? How you mad? Because the other guy, who's Rico Suave, they laughing and giggling with him.
Mm-hmm.
But because this guy looked like he's a drunk,
Mm-hmm.
So
you
there's
know,
the difference.
yeah,
Mhm.
you know, it's
In their mind.
It depends
Right.
on who is saying something to them
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What do they
And-
look like?
and what car he got out there.
Yeah,
Mm.
because that's what we're
Material.
attracted.
Material.
Yeah.
Materialistic.
And the one that's looking like he doesn't have it may be the one with it all.
But not only that, like Tim just said,
Yeah.
the one that's looking like that, he's a pervert because he's not bringing anything to the table.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
they
that makes
think.
him a
So they
pervert.
think.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
The
Rico
Rico
Suave
Suave.
ain't got nothing. He
He
just
looking-
out there. Right.
Looking the part.
And he's the one that's recruiting.
Look,
Yeah.
it might be recruiting for the one that's in the car.
That's right.
They don't
That-
realize that part.
That's
You
right.
know,
I mean, they
Good
don't
cop,
realize
bad
that
cop.
part. Exactly. No, for real.
That's right.
They don't realize
Yeah.
that part.
That's
That
right.
they can work together.
That's
But
right.
but you bringing that up is definitely
Wow.
definitely a part of it's and I mean, you know, we all say that, oh, just because they dress that way doesn't mean
that
you know,
they want that
they're-
attention.
right? But it draws attention to yourself.
Yes.
And what blows my mind is the parents come up there and complain, right?
Complain
You know,
about what?
Saying something to their
The
daughters.
teacher saying something, you know,
About the way they
like,
dress.
like you know, when I'm up there working, I do the IT stuff,
Right.
right? They assume I'm there so much that I work for the
For
board
the
of
school.
ed, right? I'm a contractor.
You're outside.
Right.
I was going to say
Right.
you're outside contractor.
I'm like a fly on the wall.
Okay.
They speak freely, so they in the rubber room. They getting paid their regular salary, you know what I mean? But they just can't be in the
they
class.
can't be in the
That's it.
classroom.
And I'm in there. They talking freely about what's going on, and I hear all the stories what's
Right.
going on, you know. And the parents come up there, and I'm like, well, you know how your daughter walked out the house,
Mm-hmm.
and you co-signed it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Acceptable.
Yeah. So you okay with it? Now, this one particular lady, I knew her for years. She when her classroom is empty, she playing gospel music.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And older black woman, you know, real religious,
Right.
you know, and she would, you know, she basically, you know, she gonna tell the young girls, look,
That's not right.
don't do that. Cover up. Don't come here like that. You know.
What's she supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, the girl went home and told her mother. She was mad. She ain't gonna tell me how to dress. You know what I mean?
Mentality.
You can dress how you want to dress, but when you come in my classroom,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want you to be presentable.
Yeah.
Mhm. Covered up.
And mother filed a complaint and blah blah blah, and because they changed the rules a couple years ago, for whatever happened, something happened, and they said you couldn't tell the girls how to dress.
Wow.
You know, you know, with all that Me Too stuff and the women's lib stuff,
Mhm.
they changed all the rules, and you know what? They pull them out the room till they investigate. They actually had a bronze medal Olympic swimmer as the swim coach
Wow.
at that school, right? He was gay.
Mm,
Okay.
He was married,
mm,
right? To another man. He was married.
Mhm.
mhm,
And the girl said that, you know, he was looking at them.
mm.
They made an accusation about this guy.
And he
Right.
got rid of him.
They put him in the rubber room. They investigated it, and then everybody knew that the guy's gay.
Right.
He's not into girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was a weird accusation.
Absolutely.
Right. They did the investigation. They said, okay, it's unfounded.
Unfounded.
They said, okay, you can go back.
Right.
He was so insulted.
He left.
Yeah.
He resigned from Morristown
Mhm.
and went to work in another school district.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And this is the stuff that happens.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So the schools are losing all the teachers. Nobody want the seasoned teachers. They're gone because they can't work under those circumstances because
You're not allowing me to be a teacher.
To teach.
because they
To
can't
teach.
they can't protect the kids.
No.
You know what I mean? Because they say you see something, you say something.
Right.
They can't even do that because the predators out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They out there at the middle schools. They even out there at the elementary schools.
Elementary
Yes.
schools,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because just like you said, when I go to the middle schools, they wear makeup in the middle schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not us, but them.
Mhm.
They wear makeup,
Mhm.
right? And I don't know what the hell they eating.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Even in the elementary schools.
Yeah. It's the chemicals
It is.
in
Right.
the food.
And-
It's
and-
the fast food every day.
And then you walk into high school and some of the middle schools, you don't know.
You don't know who's
teacher
who.
Exactly.
or student.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yes.
So the predators are there.
No,
Yeah.
They're
absolutely.
outside. They're there. You know what I mean? So how are they not going to get caught up in trafficking?
Yep.
You know what I mean? How are you not going to get caught up in it?
No, absolutely. You're absolutely
know?
right. And again, they won't acknowledge the same way, like you said, they won't acknowledge that this is a possible issue that should be addressed and put awareness and information out there, because then that means I have to admit that there's something wrong, and they will never do that.
I'm going to give y'all some homework. I want y'all to Google Westfield High School in New Jersey.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm familiar with Westfield and North. I mean Westfield. in
Westfield, New
Westfield.
Jersey, right? There was,
I know.
Mhm.
Money.
very mixed diverse.
Mhm.
I had to work on a project out there about a month and a half ago. They had some that virtual stuff, that what do they call that?
Zoom.
No, that new technology they're using. They're making movies and stuff.
Oh, the
AI?
STEM stuff.
No,
No, the AI?
the AI stuff, right? I had to work on a big project over there with the police and the FBI got involved and everything
Mm.
because one of the guys who was a Secret Service agent who was with Christie, right?
Okay.
His kids went to the school,
Uh,
so they used AI to make porno movies of the girls at the high school.
what?
It went worldwide over about a month ago. Check it out. Google it. Westfield High School
Okay.
To
AI.
make porno
They
movies
transposed. They took the
Your
girls'
faces.
pictures,
and put it on bodies.
put it on pictures, and
Yeah.
put it on the dark web. It was a big thing. I worked there for over about 6 weeks.
Wow.
We had to go take everybody's Chromebooks.
Mm.
You know
Clean
what I
them.
mean? And see
See where it came from.
who
The
had it.
IP.
You know what I mean? And
Who was involved?
with
Who
the
was
MAC
it?
address, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Take it and all this other stuff. And it went from the high school down to the middle school
Wow.
because people had siblings that
Siblings. I was just
Right.
getting ready to say
Middle
because of
school,
siblings. Mhm.
you know what I mean? And the sad thing about it was they knew about it since August.
And they was just did something in
A month
December?
ago.
Yep.
November, December.
They knew it in August because when the football practice started in August,
That's when it.
one of the coaches knew about it.
Mm.
And he didn't say anything until September about
He
it.
should be fired.
Well, I don't know what they did with him, but he told, but you should have said something.
From
In
the beginning.
August.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
As
saying?
soon as you became aware.
So it started out with 10 girls. By the time it got to us, and we had to come in and,
Do what y'all did.
and start working, taking all Chromebooks out and doing all this other stuff. It was 150 girls.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
Unacceptable.
then I lost my mind. I said, I ain't doing this because now I got to work.
Unacceptable.
I got the Westfield police guys there.
Right.
I'm in the room with all these
People enforcement.
They take all this stuff. So, and I said,
Unacceptable.
I ain't gonna be no witness because they have to have the chain of
custody.
evidence of custody.
Chain of custody.
And
Yep.
then when I said I ain't gonna be a part of this, because now you had Westfield Police, the state police, and then when the FBI came, I said I'm out of here. I'm not doing this.
I'm surprised the feds didn't take over.
They did
They
take
did.
over.
Oh, I was
That's
gonna
why they
say.
came in.
Yeah,
They did take over.
I'm surprised the
They
feds didn't
did take over. Yeah, when you get a chance, Google it.
Oh wow,
You know?
that is something.
And I knew it blew my mind because I was home on a Sunday, laying in the bed, and it came on CNN. But when the lady came on CNN with her daughter sitting right next to her,
and you
talking about it,
You knew.
and you knew all about it.
I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "That's one of our accounts, right?"
Wow.
And I know the community of Westfield. I mean, the median income in Westfield is probably about $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
You know what I mean? And she came on with her daughter talking about it. I said, "Oh, it's gonna be on and popping," and it's on and popping.
How dare they?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
How dare they? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Trafficking at its finest.
Oh yeah.
How dare they?
So it's crazy, but
It is. And all we can do is what we continue to do is try to be diligent, try to be a voice, do our community work that we do. And because that's all we have control over.
That's it.
And before we close, I'm just going to share some indicators, some trafficking indicators with you just to be mindful of, because trafficking is not necessarily something that you just see, but it's the changes in the not only the body, the behaviors and the demeanors that you could be mindful of, and recognize them. Sometimes a person appears disconnected from family and friends, community organizations, or church. Sometimes they stop attending school. That's a big one. Sudden change and dramatic change in their behavior. That's a major one, because their mind is being
Played with.
exactly.
But you know what I want y'all to do? Link it with Rudd, because Rudd got a hook in the New Jersey public school system
Oh, really?
and the New York public school system. They're looking for people to do workshops.
Oh, okay.
They're paying for people to do
Okay.
workshops. And I think this would be a great workshop.
Oh, definitely. Then
Understood.
definitely.
And this is a workshop that you can water it down and probably do it for the
Especially
kids.
in
but
those
for the
two
teachers.
states that I
But-
just told you,
And
the
that's where-
numbers.
Yeah.
Those two states that I just
Yeah.
told you where
18
the
and
numbers
4.
are, 18 and 4.
Yeah, reach out to Rudd because
Okay.
they're looking
Got
to
it.
do workshops for
Oh,
the
great.
teachers, and for the students. Yeah.
One of the main things is them being coached in what to say. When you engage them, the inability to make eye contact and engage them about, the possibility, the inability to make eye contact, and the responses that they're rehearsed responses.
Yes.
A lot of the young ladies that I used to encounter, it will be very rehearsed. Their responses will be very rehearsed, and you could tell that they're very rehearsed.
Coached.
And one of the main things is, like we said, yes, it's not always, but living in unsuitable conditions with, regard to family and, housing, and because those are the people that are looking for
And outlet.
somebody to free them from their situation. So they're easily coached. And lack of personal possessions, the keeping up with the Joneses, so to
Yes.
speak, unstable, things of that nature. And and does the person, one of the main ones is, does the person have freedom of movement? If you see them with people, and people that you like, something don't look right, that they're not free
To
to
move.
engage, or to walk away from them or leave them, that possibly that is something that you need to consider, because they were told, you stay here, you don't talk, those type of things. So I'm going to leave you with those type of things. And please, anyone interested in, like you said, doing workshops, having conversations, because it could be something that's just a conversation, a group, because a workshop is just that.
That's
It's a
it.
group. Yeah,
Of
it's a group
individuals.
conversation. A group of individuals get together having a conversation. Church organizations, community organizations. Please feel free to reach out. You can contact the J Spot Youth Depot, www.jspotyouth.org, 973-666-2918. Trish know everybody, so y'all know y'all can always call Trish. You can contact Terry at the radio station, and he will put you in touch with us. We want to thank you for your time this evening, just engaging and listening to us. Just sharing information that needs to be shared, and at the same time acknowledging January 11th as Human Trafficking Awareness Day, and just sharing with the community, because it's important.
We care about the community. As Terry says, unity in the community. We're in this together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And if we don't pull together, who else will?
Yeah. Then we fell in
sharing
everybody.
sharing resources, contacts, networking, and just making sure that everybody's good in whatever capacity that we can. So we thank you, Terry. We thank you for those that shared and listened with us.
No
And
problem.
everybody have a good evening
And stay safe.
and stay safe. Absolutely.